Hello and a very warm welcome. Thanks for tuning in to News 9 Live. A very Merry Christmas to you and yours from everybody here at News 9. You're watching a special broadcast of top stories, and the first story that we're taking a look at in this news hour is, of course, from Tamil Nadu, where the state police have registered a case against 15 Enforcement Directorate officials for allegedly preventing Directorate of Vigilance and Anti-Corruption officers from discharging their duties during the investigation in the Ankit Tiwari bribe case. Earlier, the DVAC had caught Ankit Tiwari, an Enforcement Directorate official, red-handed whilst he was allegedly receiving a bribe of 20 lakh rupees. After the arrest of Ankit Tiwari, DVAC officers carried out searches at the official premises of Ankit Tiwari in the Madurai Zonal Office of Enforcement Directorate. Now, the DVAC officer in his complaint to Tamil Nadu Police has alleged that 15 ED officers, including an AD rank officer, stopped them from carrying out searches at Tiwari's office premises, thereby preventing them from discharging their duties and interfering in its investigation. Ankit Tiwari, who is a member of the 2016 batch of ED officers, has a background of prior service in the states of Gujarat and Madhya Pradesh and was caught red-handed while accepting a bribe of 20 lakh rupees from a doctor in Tamil Nadu's Dindigul district in December this year. Ankit Tiwari was produced before a judicial magistrate in Dindigul and sent to 15 days judicial custody later. Only recently, the Madras High Court also dismissed a bail plea that was filed by Ankit Tiwari. Meanwhile, in a controversial turn of events, a 2019 speech by DMK Member of Parliament Dayanidhi Maran has resurfaced, sparking outrage over remarks about people from Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. Maran had suggested that those from these states end up in menial jobs in the state of Tamil Nadu. The BJP and the ruling RJD in Bihar, which is part of the INDIA alliance alongside the DMK, condemned Maran's comments, considering them inappropriate for a leader advocating social justice. Now, the controversy centers around a 24-second video clip of Maran's 2019 speech, which went viral on social media. Maran, during the speech commemorating DMK patriarch M. Karunanidhi, discussed the party's anti-Hindi imposition stance and emphasized the importance of learning English along with Tamil. BJP criticized the leaders of the opposition alliance for consistently making disparaging remarks about northern states.
हमारे साथ केंद्रीय मंत्री अश्विनी चौबे सर हैं। सर, अयोध्या का समग्र विकास हो रहा है, आप देख ही रहे हैं। आपके मंत्रालय की किस तरह की कई सारी योजनाएं?
देखिए, पूरी तरह से कुछ लोग टॉयलेट साफ करने का काम करते हैं, कुछ गंदगी फैलाने का काम करते हैं। तो दयानिधि मारन जैसे लोग गंदगी फैलाने का काम करते हैं। देश को तय करना है कि गंदगी फैलाने वाले लोग चाहिए या गंदगी साफ करने वाले।
भारतीय जनता पार्टी एक भारत श्रेष्ठ भारत के लिए माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के मार्गदर्शन में काम करती है। और जब इस प्रकार की जो भाषा बोलते हैं, मैं उसकी निंदा करता हूं, लेकिन इसका जवाब श्री राहुल गांधी जी को देना चाहिए, श्री अखिलेश यादव जी को देना चाहिए, और जो ऐसी पार्टियों से अपने रिश्ते रखते हैं और उत्तर भारत में राजनीतिक सफलता की आस भी रखते हैं, इसका जवाब उनको देना चाहिए। हमारे लिए उत्तर हो, दक्षिण हो, पूरब हो, पश्चिम हो, सारा भारत एक है, सारे भारतवासी एक हैं, और देश की प्रगति में सबके सहयोग की अपेक्षा रहती है। और इस प्रकार के जहरीले बयानों के लिए अब देश में कोई आसान नहीं है। इस प्रकार के बयानों से किसी को कोई राजनीतिक लाभ नहीं मिलने वाला है। इसीलिए भारतीय जनता पार्टी दिन दूना रात चौगुना बढ़ रही है, और जो बहुत इस प्रकार की क्षुद्र मानसिकता की राजनीति करते हैं और उनका एकदम पतन हो रहा है, उनका जनता स्वयं सफाया कर रही है। और आने वाले समय में हिंदुस्तान के हर राज्य में कमल का फूल दिखेगा।
देखिए, नीतीश कुमार और लालू यादव को चुप्पी तोड़नी चाहिए और इंडी गठबंधन से डीएमके को बाहर निकाल करना चाहिए। ये कोई पहली बार बयान नहीं दिया है। ठीक है आपने कि सनातन धर्म को जिस तरह से गालियाँ दी गई और बिहार के लोगों को, हिंदी भाषियों को लगातार गालियाँ दी जा रही है। देखिए, जो तेलंगाना का चुनाव हुआ, उस तेलंगाना के चुनाव के बाद ये उत्तर दक्षिण का विवाद पैदा करना चाहते हैं। इनको लगता है कर्नाटक में चुनाव जीत गए, केरल में उनकी सरकार है।
Next up, latest on the COVID-19 front, India has reported 656 new COVID cases within the last 24 hours, bringing the total active caseload to 4,054 as per the Union Health Ministry's latest data. Additionally, one new death was also reported in the last 24 hours, this in the state of Kerala. The World Health Organization, on the other hand, is urging Southeast Asian countries, including India, to step up surveillance and protective measures due to the emergence of the JN.1 subvariant. Now, despite the low current risk of the JN.1 subvariant, precautions are crucial, especially during the holiday season. Vaccination remains crucial, with approved vaccines protecting against severe outcomes, including JN.1. Experts say no extra vaccine dose is currently needed for the protection against this new subvariant. The surge in cases has led to increased testing in Thane, Odisha, with instances of the JN.1 subvariant now being reported. Health experts have reassured that despite its higher transmissibility, JN.1 is not causing severe infections or hospitalizations at the moment. The government has reassured the tourism industry, stating there is no need to panic, citing the nation's successful past efforts in combating the virus. Now to the latest on the recent surge in terror incidents in Jammu and Kashmir. Army Chief General Manoj Pandey is in Rajouri, Poonch to discuss the recent and ongoing counter-terrorist operations. Security forces are continuing their hunt for terrorists in the region. Take a look at some of those pictures of the general arriving in the region. A team of officials from the National Investigation Agency are also conducting their operations. Meanwhile, a search operation for the terrorists has been ongoing since the 21st of December after a terror attack on 2 army trucks claimed the lives of the 4 army personnel and injured 3 other personnel. Meanwhile, a search operation continues in Baramulla as well, where a retired senior superintendent of police, Mohammad Shafi Mir, pictures on your screens, was shot dead while he was offering prayers at a local mosque.
फिलहाल जो है यहाँ पे जगह पर दादू जो है वो लाए गए और इसके साथ साथ दीगर जो यहाँ पे इक्विपमेंट लाए गए। फिलहाल जो है जांच चल रही है। जांच के साथ साथ पूरे इलाके को जो है
And moving on, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar is on a 4-day visit to Russia as part of the ongoing high-level exchanges between the two nations. During the visit, he will hold discussions with Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Industry and Trade Denis Manturov to address economic engagement matters. Additionally, Jaishankar will also meet his Russian counterpart, Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, to discuss bilateral, multilateral and international issues. But what's on the table? What's going to be Jaishankar's Russia agenda? Now, the visit will emphasize the strong people-to-people and cultural ties between India and Russia, with engagements planned in Moscow and St. Petersburg. It underscores the stability and resilience of the India-Russia partnership, characterized by the special and privileged strategic partnership. Now, various aspects of the bilateral relations focusing on trade, energy, defense and connectivity are expected to be addressed as the annual India-Russia Leaders Summit is deferred this year. Moving on, the Sports Ministry, after suspending the Wrestling Federation of India, has urged the Indian Olympic Association, the IOA, to form an ad hoc committee for governance in the meantime. The letter from the Under-Secretary to the Government of India emphasized the need for corrective measures. Before the elections were held, the WFI was run by an ad hoc body that was formed by the IOA after former President Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh was stepped aside. Meanwhile, the suspension followed the WFI's hasty announcement of organizing under-15 and under-20 nationals. In an official release, the Sports Ministry said that the announcement for the national competitions was hasty and that due process was not followed. The ministry detailed that the announcement by Sanjay Singh was against the rules, as a minimum of 15-day notice was needed for the wrestlers to prepare. Now, following Sanjay Singh's election as WFI president, Sakshi Malik resigned. She retired, hung up her boots from the sport of wrestling, all in protest, whilst Bajrang Punia returned his Padma Shri award on the Kartavya Path, emblematic of his solidarity and protest as well.
उसमें जो कारण दिया गया, एक तो दिया गया है कि 60 टर्म में आपने अंडर 15 और अंडर 20 नेशनल का घोषणा किया। दूसरा रीजन दिया गया है कि ऑफिस आप उसी पुरानी जगह से चला रहे हैं। तीसरा दिया गया कि नंदिनी नगर में आपने क्यों दिया, और चौथा दिया गया कि ये डिसीजन, उस डिसीजन में लोचब नहीं मौजूद थे। ये 4 डिसीजन दिया गया है, मतलब 4 कारण दिया गया है। उसका रीजन ये था कि 25 यूनिट इलेक्शन में जुटी वहां इकट्ठा हुई थी। उसके बाद हम लोगों ने एक मीटिंग लिया वहीं पे, इलेक्शन के बाद फिर वहीं मीटिंग को एडजर्न करके इलेक्शन के बाद सारे लोगों की एक मीटिंग हुई, जिसमें यह निर्णय लिया गया कि यह इसी कैलेंडर ईयर में करा दिया जाए, जिससे कि बच्चों का साल न बर्बाद होने पाए। समय कम था, उसके लिए सारे लोगों ने समर्थता जाहिर किया। इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर नंदिनी गोंडा में था जहां की 2 नेशनल एक साथ कराया जा सके, इसलिए वहां पे नेशनल सबकी सहमति से अलॉट किया गया। सारी स्टेट फेडरेशन की सहमति दिया, तब जाकर के वहां अलॉट किया गया।
फेडरेशन का नेक्स्ट मूव क्या होगा इस फैसले के खिलाफ? क्या
नेक्स्ट मूव है, अभी हम लोग जाकर के सरकार से बात करेंगे, मोदी जी से बात करेंगे, खेल मंत्री से बात करेंगे, क्योंकि बच्चों का भविष्य खराब हो रहा है।
नई फेडरेशन जो हुई है उसी दिन उनकी विदाई कर दी थी 21 तारीख को ही, और आज उन्होंने अपना बता भी दिया कि हमने कुश्ती से संन्यास ले लिया है। साक्षी मलिक ने भी कुश्ती से संन्यास ले लिया है। तो दोनों जो जिसके ऊपर आरोप लगा था, जिसने आरोप लगाया था, दोनों लोग संन्यास ले लिए। तो अब दोनों लोग शांति से नई फेडरेशन को चलने दें, बच्चों का भविष्य अच्छा होने दें, जिससे कुश्ती जो रुकी हुई है, कुश्ती की एक्टिविटी आगे बढ़े। बार बार कुछ नेशनल होना होता है तब तक एक्टिविटी रोक दी जाती है। रह गए उनके नहीं रिश्तेदार की बात जो उन्होंने कहा है, वो क्षत्रिय समाज से आते हैं, मैं भूमिहार समाज से आता हूं, तो मैं उनका रिश्तेदार कहां से हो जाऊंगा? करीबी का जो आरोप लग रहा है, मैं भी उसी फेडरेशन में ज्वाइंट सेक्रेटरी था और वो प्रेसिडेंट थे। तो एक प्रेसिडेंट और ज्वाइंट सेक्रेटरी के बीच में रिश्ता रहता है कि नहीं रहता है? दोस्ती का रिश्ता होता है, बातचीत का रिश्ता होता है। ये तो रिश्ता था उनसे। अब अच्छा हुआ कि बुरा हुआ, अब जो बच्चे इस साल सर्टिफिकेट नहीं पाएंगे, जाके उन जूनियर बच्चों का आप इंटरव्यू ले लीजिए, उनसे पूछ लीजिए कि अच्छा हुआ है या बुरा हुआ है। ये वो बताएंगे कि अच्छा हुआ है कि बुरा हुआ है। चलती हुई कुश्ती को रोक देना, निर्धारित कुश्ती को रोक देना, कुश्ती में राजनीति ना आए ना, खेल को खेल की तरह रखा जाए। खेल मंत्रालय ने भी कुछ कंफ्यूजन में डिसीजन ले लिया है। बच्चों का भविष्य तो इस साल का तो खत्म हो गया। अंडर 15 और अंडर 20 के बच्चों का तो इस साल का सर्टिफिकेट गया, इस कैलेंडर ईयर का। अब इसके लिए यही चीज जाके हम उनसे बात करें कि आगे कुश्ती सुचारू रूप से चल सके, जिससे कि बच्चों का भविष्य अच्छा हो। अगर मंत्रालय हमारी बात को नहीं सुनेगा तो लीगल ओपिनियन भी लिया जाएगा। सेकंड ऑप्शन लीगल ओपिनियन का है।
Meanwhile, leader of Bharatiya Kisan Union, Yudhvir Singh, expressed dissatisfaction with the government's decision to suspend the newly elected body of the Wrestling Federation of India. He urges clarity from the government, emphasizing the need for a clear decision.
सरकार से ये अपील है मेरी आप लोगों के माध्यम से कि ये लुका छुपी नहीं, जो खेल पहले खेला वो खेल ना हो जाए। सरकार बड़ी साफ तौर पे आया कि वो एक गलती हुई है सरकार से। उन्होंने इन बेटियों को कहीं ना कहीं जो आश्वासन दिया था, चूक हुई है, उसको पूरा करने में, उसको पूरा करें, स्पष्ट करें, इसको रद्द करके दोबारा से चुनाव कराएं नए अध्यक्ष का, तब बात पूरी होगी।
But let's also try and understand the story behind Brij Bhushan Singh's retirement from Wrestling Association politics. Following the allegations against the former WFI chief, BJP strategists anticipate the opposition leveraging the WFI issue ahead of the 2024 Lok Sabha elections. BJP also feared the negative impact on India's image in international sports. Therefore, late night yesterday, party president JP Nadda called Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh, who was in Gonda. JP Nadda asked Brij Bhushan to immediately go to Delhi and meet him. JP Nadda took information about the matter and asked Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh to go to the media and clear his position that now he has no connection with the WFI nor any interference. After which, Brij Bhushan told the media that he is retiring from wrestling and he no longer has any connections with the Wrestling Association or the sport.
संजय सिंह अपना काम कर रहे हैं, हम अपना काम कर रहे हैं। संजय सिंह को हमने कह दिया अपना काम करें, अपना काम करें।
तो चैलेंज कब करेंगे दिल्ली हाईकोर्ट में?
ये बात संजय सिंह से पूछिए। देखिए, जो कल मैं खेल की राजनीति से, मतलब कुश्ती की राजनीति से और
क्या करना है, ये नहीं करना है, ये फेडरेशन का काम है, चुनी हुई फेडरेशन का काम है और सरकार के बीच में मेरा इससे कोई लेना देना नहीं है। मैं पूर्णतः संन्यास ले चुका हूं, मुझे और काम है।
Well, time for us to slip into a quick break here. Lots more continues right on the other side.
Bangalore traffic is an example of something that has gone wrong with our system.
We have more than 50 flyovers in Bangalore city. If flyover is a solution to traffic problem, Bangalore should not have traffic problem.
According to TomTom Traffic Index 2022, Bangalore is ranked as the second worst city in the world when it comes to traffic.
The speed limit at the ORR is 80 kilometers per hour, but our vehicle has only moved 10 kilometers per hour.
What Bangalore needs is a surgery, but what we have been offered repeatedly are band-aids.
Only on the world's first news OTT. News 9 Plus, ahead of the curve.
Welcome back. You're watching News 9 Live. Now it's the 99th birth anniversary of former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee. President Draupadi Murmu, Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and many leaders paid tribute to the former Prime Minister at Atal Samadhi Sthal. Now, BJP officials and the party's state presidents paid floral tributes to Vajpayee's portraits at all the booths, fostering discussions about his remarkable personality and contributions. To pay tribute to Vajpayee's poetry, creative programs were organized. Discussions on government schemes, achievements and good governance with a focus on welfare for beneficiaries have also been organized throughout today on his 99th birth anniversary. Visuals and pictures on your screens from the Atal Samadhi Sthal with all the top leaders, including the President, the Vice President, several union ministers and of course Prime Minister Narendra Modi attending this particular event. Commemorating and remembering the yesteryears of Indian politics. But what's happening in today's time? Congress Chief Mallikarjun Kharge has openly contested the comments made by Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar and Chairperson of the Upper House. In a letter to the Vice President about their quote-unquote Christmas meeting, Kharge said the mass suspension of members of Parliament during Parliament's winter session was not a spontaneous reaction but a premeditated move by the government. Kharge further stressed that the government has quote-unquote weaponized the suspension of MPs to undermine democracy and sabotage parliamentary practices. While acknowledging Dhankar's invitation, Kharge mentioned his absence from Delhi and proposed a meeting upon his return to the national capital. He also conveyed his willingness to meet at the earliest convenience upon his arrival. Additionally, Mallikarjun Kharge echoed Dhankar's proposal to address the post-winter session issues. He emphasized that the key is remaining faithful to the Constitution, the Parliament and the democratic principles, and for all that, discussions need to happen inside the Parliament, not inside the Vice President and the Chair of the Upper House's chamber. Moving on, a plane that was carrying 303 Indian passengers, including 11 unaccompanied minors, that was also detained near Paris due to suspected human trafficking, is now free to leave today. This has been corroborated by a French court that had ruled the same on Sunday. But it is not clear if and when the plane, originally bound for Nicaragua, will return to India. Previously, French judges cancelled hearings for passengers on a Romania-bound aircraft due to procedural irregularities. After 3 days in detention near Paris, the passengers will now resume their journey, some who had also sought asylum, whilst the plane's destination at this moment remains unclear. Legend Airlines, the aircraft company that denied involvement in the so-called human trafficking. Now, amid the ongoing investigation, the Indian embassy staff ensured the welfare of nationals that were involved and stuck there. The Indian officials also thanked French authorities for their effort over the Christmas holiday. 2 men were detained for questioning by a specialized unit in the matter. Allegations hinted at the passengers intending illegal entry into US or Canada via Central America, prompting suspicions of human trafficking. Meanwhile, the Delhi National Capital Region continues to grapple with severe air pollution, marked by an air quality index that exceeded the 400 mark, as reported by the Central Pollution Control Board. Despite the enforcement of the GRAP 3, the Graded Response Action Plan 3-stage regulations that were employed just last Friday, the air quality in the national capital remains hazardous. The overall AQI level in Delhi at 6 a.m. today was measured above the 400 mark, indicating a critical category. The persistently poor air quality has led to health issues for residents, including burning sensation in the eyes, respiratory discomfort and throat irritation. Urgent measures are required as the air pollution has triggered the third consecutive day of AQI exceeding above the 400 level. The situation is prompting authorities to implement restrictions, including a ban on certain types of vehicles and construction activities to curb pollution levels. And following the latest measures, non-essential construction work is now prohibited in the Delhi National Capital Region. And under the GRAP, the Commission has also restricted the use of BS3 petrol and BS4 diesel vehicles in the national capital and surrounding areas. Governments are instructed to enforce these restrictions, make sure they are followed to the T. The Central Commission attributes the decline in air quality to unfavorable Met conditions, including fog and haze with low wind speed.
दिसंबर लगभग खत्म होने को आ गया है, लेकिन अभी भी न्यूनतम तापमान में जितनी गिरावट होनी चाहिए अभी उतना तापमान नहीं पहुंचा है। अगर मैं आज के तापमान की बात करूं तो आज का जो न्यूनतम तापमान है वो 7.9 डिग्री सेल्सियस दर्ज किया गया, जो कि पिछले 2 दिनों के मुकाबले कहीं ज़्यादा है। पिछले 2 दिनों की अगर बात करूं तो 6 डिग्री सेल्सियस तक तापमान पहुंच गया था, लेकिन आज का तापमान 7.9 डिग्री सेल्सियस हुआ न्यूनतम। और अधिकतम तापमान जो है वो 25.8 डिग्री सेल्सियस दर्ज किया गया। तो कहेंगे अधिकतम तापमान और न्यूनतम तापमान जो है दोनों में ही जितनी गिरावट होनी चाहिए उतनी नहीं है, बल्कि तापमान बढ़ रहा है, जबकि तापमान इस दौरान घटना चाहिए। और शीत लहर भी अभी भी दिल्ली में नहीं आई है। और मैं अगर बात करूंगी आज के विजिबिलिटी की, तो आज विजिबिलिटी जरूर काफ़ी कम रही। सुबह को सफदरजंग में 200 मीटर की विजिबिलिटी रिकॉर्ड की गई। वहीं दिल्ली एयरपोर्ट अगर बात करूं पालम की तरफ जो एयर रिकॉर्ड किया गया है जो विजिबिलिटी, तो वो है 0 विजिबिलिटी। तो इस बार 0 विजिबिलिटी आज रिकॉर्ड हुई है। लेकिन जो शहर के अंदर की बात करें, जो सुबह की मैं बता रही हूँ, आज कोहरा ज़्यादा था, इस वजह से विजिबिलिटी काफ़ी कम रिकॉर्ड हुई। और जो मौसम विभाग का जो पूर्वानुमान है वो भी कहता है इस पूरे हफ्ते सुबह को कोहरा पड़ेगा और अधिकतम तापमान वो जो है वो 24 से 25 डिग्री सेल्सियस तक रहेगा। और जो न्यूनतम तापमान है वो भी 7 डिग्री के नीचे आने की संभावना काफ़ी कम है। तो कहेंगे कि यही तापमान इस पूरे हफ्ते लगभग बना रहेगा, क्योंकि सनी डे है, इस वजह से आसमान साफ आपको दिख रहा होगा। लेकिन सुबह के वक्त बस कोहरा थोड़ा सा आपकी रफ्तार कम कर सकता है। तो अगर मैं आज उसके अलावा मैं अगर आज की बात करूंगी, आज AQI क्या कहता है, तो मैं AQI का अगर मैं जाती हूं और जो ये समीर ऐप है उस पर अगर मैं AQI देखती हूं और बताती हूं कि आज AQI की क्या स्थिति, क्योंकि लगातार पोल्यूशन जो है वो भी दिल्ली वालों को बहुत परेशान कर रहा है। पोल्यूशन भी कम होने का नाम नहीं ले रहा है। तो मैं अगर सिटी में जाऊंगी और मैं देखूंगी आज का AQI CPCB का जो डेटा है वो मैं आपको बताऊंगी, तो 393 है AQI देखिएगा दिल्ली का आज। और इसके अलावा मैं अगर अलग अलग इलाकों पे जाऊंगी तो भी देखिएगा ज़्यादातर इलाकों में अगर मैं आऊँ और आपको दिखाने की कोशिश करूँ, 417 जो है वो RK पुरम का है, पंजाबी बाग 429 का है। और जो ये देखिएगा मैं अगर दिखाऊंगी आपको नेहरू नगर 428 है, द्वारका 415 है।
Moving on, in the vibrant city of Ayodhya in Uttar Pradesh, preparations for the grand inauguration of the Ram temple are in full swing. Dedicated workers are meticulously cleaning marbles and stones, ensuring the construction materials reflect the sanctity and grandeur of the upcoming temple. Simultaneously, Ayodhya is hosting an awe-inspiring exhibition showcasing meticulously crafted idols of gods, all made from clay. This event not only celebrates the rich tradition of artistic craftsmanship, but also adds a spiritual dimension to the atmosphere, resonating with the impending inauguration of the Ram Temple. Now the city is being adorned with creativity as skilled artists paint mesmerizing depictions of gods on its walls. These intricate paintings serve as a visual tribute to the divine, creating a captivating ambience that echoes the cultural and religious significance of Ayodhya just before the historic moment of the Ram Temple inauguration. Slipping into a quick commercial break here, lots more right on the other side.
Currently, the industry is facing a lot of challenges as far as demand is concerned. Basically, the US markets has slowed down because of high inflation.
So obviously, diamonds being a dream product, something which doesn't have a utility value or is seen as a luxury. So that obviously goes off your shopping list. That's the first item that will go off your shopping list, especially in recessionary trends.
That lab-grown diamonds are not mined, and they do away with the entire mining. So they save up on all the environmental damage that is associated with mining, and of course, the mining cost, which is why they're even more affordable.
People that is impacted by all these recessions are the artisans, are the people who work in this industry, right? But I think lab-grown diamond has allowed them to actually use their skills in the same product.
This and more streaming on world's first news OTT, News 9 Plus. Download now.
Bangalore traffic is an example of something that has gone wrong with our system.
We have more than 50 flyovers in Bangalore city. If flyover is a solution to traffic problem, Bangalore should not have traffic problem.
According to TomTom Traffic Index 2022, Bangalore is ranked as the second worst city in the world when it comes to traffic.
The speed limit at the ORR is 80 kilometers per hour, but our vehicle has only moved 10 kilometers per hour.
What Bangalore needs is a surgery, but what we have been offered repeatedly are band-aids.
Only on the world's first news OTT, News 9 Plus, ahead of the curve.
तो जब हम करेंगे तो पता लग ही जाएगा। सलमान खान का करेंगे, मारेंगे यहीं जोधपुर में मारेंगे तो पता लग जाएगा।
This is someone who is sitting inside our jails and is still very obviously and openly running and possibly the largest organized criminal operation in the country.
Student organization of Punjab University में सोपू का acting president type भी रहा है.
He was a troublemaker, getting into fights with people, not coming to the class.
As on gate, it appears that Lawrence gang is the most important, the prominent gang. Gangs here in Punjab, they are intimidated.
Today, he is India's most dangerous gangster, and India's presence are apparently no bar to how Bishnoi runs India's largest criminal empire.
News is now content. Just stream it. Download the world's first news OTT, News 9 Plus, ahead of the curve. The following content may contain visuals that are disturbing, graphic, or sensitive in nature. Viewer discretion is advised. This material is intended for mature audiences and may not be suitable for all viewers. Please exercise caution while watching, and if you find such content distressing, we recommend discontinuing viewing. This disclaimer is provided to ensure awareness and to prioritize viewer well-being.
It's been 80 days since Hamas's first attack on Israel. Since then, nearly 21,000 Gazans have lost their lives in the conflict between Israel and Hamas. Let's get you the latest update from the war zone on your screens. At least 68 Palestinians were killed in central Gaza in the airstrike, according to the Gaza's health officials. Meanwhile, this is separate and different from the 166 people that died in Gaza in the last 24 hours, according to Gaza's health ministry. Meanwhile, Pope Francis, on the day of Christmas, says, "All our prayers, hopes and hearts are with the people in Bethlehem amid the ongoing war." Israeli forces, meanwhile, continue to intensify their operations inside Gaza Strip, according to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who says that their all-elusive plan of completely capturing North Gaza is still underway. Meanwhile, 15 Israeli soldiers have been killed in Gaza since Friday. This has been confirmed and corroborated by the Israeli Defense Forces. Around 20,400 Palestinians have been killed in the Gaza war so far. Bombings and fightings were reported in northern Gaza as the Gaza health authorities and the Israeli military both announced mounting death tolls.
Dense smoke rose over Gaza on Sunday. Israel says it has achieved almost complete operational control over the northern part of the densely populated enclave. But residents and Palestinian media have reported bombings in parts of Jabalia and continued fighting. And meanwhile, the death toll continues to rise. 24 hours alone, more than 20,000 Palestinians have died in the past 11 weeks of fighting. Tens of thousands have been wounded, with many bodies believed to be trapped under the rubble. Israel has long urged residents to leave northern parts of Gaza, but its forces have also been bombarding targets in the center and the south. Palestinian medics in Rafah, on Gaza's border with Egypt, said an Israeli airstrike on a house had killed 2 people. In the southern city of Khan Yunis, the Palestinian Red Crescent reported an attack on one of its main bases. The Israeli military has expressed regret for civilian deaths, but blames Hamas for operating in densely populated areas or using civilians as human shields, an allegation the group denies. Israel's military also said 9 of its soldiers had been killed in the past day. That brings combat losses to 155 and marked one of the highest daily death tolls for Israeli forces in the ground assault so far.
אנחנו נמשיך להילחם עד לניצחון המוחלט על החמאס.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said the war was exacting, quote, a very heavy cost from us, but that, quote, we have no choice but to continue fighting. Speaking at his weekly cabinet meeting, Netanyahu also dismissed reports that the U.S. had convinced Israel not to expand its military campaign. The Wall Street Journal reported on Saturday that U.S. President Joe Biden had persuaded Netanyahu not to attack the militant Hezbollah group in neighboring Lebanon out of concerns it might launch an attack on Israel.
ישראל היא מדינה ריבונית.
But Netanyahu said that Israel is, quote, a sovereign state and that its decisions in the war are not, quote, dictated by external pressures.
הן לא מוכתבות על ידי לחצים חיצוניים.
Meanwhile, according to Gaza health officials, at least 70 people have been killed in an Israeli strike in central Gaza. The strike reportedly occurred in the Maghazi refugee camp east of Deir al-Balah. The 70 fatalities include at least 12 women and 7 children. The ongoing conflict has devastated parts of Gaza, resulting in the death of approximately 20,500 Palestinians and displacing almost all of the territory's 2.2+ million people. The war exacts a very heavy price from us, but we have no choice but to continue fighting. We just heard Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu say the same. Meanwhile, during a weekly cabinet meeting, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu addressed false publications claiming that the U.S. has prevented and is preventing Israel from conducting operations in the region. Netanyahu dismissed these claims, stating that Israel is a sovereign state and its decisions in the war are based on operational considerations, not some foreign land.
Last night I spoke again with President Biden. I appreciate the US's firm stand in the Security Council, a stand that supports our war effort. I told President Biden yesterday that we will fight until a complete victory, however long it takes. The United States understands that.
ארצות הברית מבינה זאת.
I have seen false publications claiming that the US prevented and is preventing us from operations in the region. This is not true. Israel is a sovereign state. Our decisions in the war are based on our operational considerations, and I will not elaborate on that. They are not dictated by external pressures.
לחצים חיצוניים.
Now, the IDF released footage claiming to show an operation to dismantle Hamas's northern underground headquarters in Gaza. This video displayed a section of the tunnel lined with white tiles, a similarly designed bathroom featuring a basic shower, toilet and sink, as well as a workroom with a corner table and a bench. One tunnel also revealed a drinking water dispenser and a pile of bullets. The IDF stated that 5 Israeli hostages previously killed in Hamas captivity were recovered from an underground tunnel network in the northern Gaza Strip. Now, as the Red Sea crisis worsens, exporters face challenges in ensuring smooth goods transportation. Recent weeks have seen intensified Houthi terrorist attacks in Yemen, ostensibly in support of Hamas amid Israel's Gaza offensive. This has disrupted a key trade route connecting Europe and North America with Asia through the Suez Canal, posing a significant threat to global trade flows.
As the crisis in the Red Sea deepens, exporters are wondering how to get their goods to market. Iran-backed Houthi militants in Yemen have stepped up attacks on vessels in the area in recent weeks. That's to show support for Hamas during Israel's military offensive in Gaza. The attacks have disrupted a key trade route linking Europe and North America with Asia via the Suez Canal. It accounts for about 10% of global GDP. Now major shippers including Maersk are sending their vessels around South Africa instead, a safer but much longer route. That has exporters scrambling for alternative air, land or ocean options. One German freight firm said customers were looking at so-called intermodal routes. For example, ship part of the way, then plane for the final leg. But air cargo capacity is limited, and it costs many times more than shipping by sea. Analysts at S&P Global say that leaves major retailers like Walmart and IKEA looking vulnerable to disruption. The crisis doesn't look set to ease anytime soon. On Wednesday, the leader of Yemen's Houthis warned that they would attack any US warships that attempted to intervene.
We will not stand idly by if the Americans attempted to escalate further and commit foolishness by targeting our country or waging war against it. Any American targeting of our country will be targeted by us. And we will make American warships, interests, and navigation a target for our missiles, drones, and military operations.
Washington has promised to establish an international naval task force to protect merchant vessels. But shipping firms say they are in the dark over when or how the force will operate. Meanwhile, they've started hiking fees for cargoes passing through the Red Sea area. United Nations trade expert Jan Hoffman says it all spells trouble for consumers, albeit not immediately.
So if you have systematically higher shipping costs for manufactured goods, the consumer goods that you and I buy in the shop, it takes many months to really translate into higher prices. But it will come.
The extent of the impact will depend on how long the disruption lasts. One US-based shipping firm told Reuters it was advising clients to prepare for at least 90 days of trouble.
Well, shifting our focus to some other global developments, southern Mexico's Tapachula witnesses a mass migration as thousands set out for the United States. Sunday saw a hopeful departure of thousands from Tapachula in southern Mexico, aiming to reach the United States. Among the leaders were migrants bearing a cross and a Mexican flag and a poignant banner reading "Poverty Exodus." Now the caravan represents individuals like Jose Santos from Honduras, a former security guard, Fleeing threats of violence from MS-13 gang members back at home, Santos seeks refuge and safety in the United States. And just like Santos, thousands and hundreds that have moved or attempted to move with him. Meanwhile, Polish farmers have officially concluded their blockade at the Miedkia-Sieni crossing, marking an end to the disruption of lorry movement between Ukraine and Poland. The Ukrainian Border Service confirmed the resolution, stating that truck traffic has been fully restored. Now, the blockade, which had caused a temporary halt in cross-border lorries, came to an end, as reported by the Polish Border Guard. This timely resolution brings relief to the affected transportation route, allowing the resumption of normal operations. But even as we're talking about Ukraine, take a look at this. Russia's invasion of Ukraine has led to tragedy and immense suffering, altering lives indefinitely. The conflict has also reshaped Christmas in the country, with at least one Ukrainian couple believing the change has brought about positive outcomes. What is that positive outcome? Well, take a look at it for yourself.
Russia's invasion of Ukraine brought tragedy and suffering, forever changing lives. It's also changed Christmas in the country, and at least one Ukrainian couple says the change is for the better. Lesia Shestakova was baking pastries for the festival earlier this week. She's a Catholic who has traditionally celebrated Christmas on December 25th. But her husband, Alexander, is an Orthodox Christian who has marked the festival on January 7th. This year, in an effort to distance the country from Russia and its Orthodox tradition, Ukraine passed a law making December 25th the official Christmas holiday. That means, for the first time, Lesia and Alexander will share a single Christmas together.
Нарешті в Україні з'явився день.
Lesia Shestakova told Reuters, quote, "There is finally a day in Ukraine which my husband and I can spend together in the cathedral and thank God that we are together, alive and in good health. Our families will celebrate together too." On Sunday, they jointly attended the Catholic Cathedral of St. Alexander in Kyiv. Since Moscow's February 2022 attack, many Ukrainians have rejected the Russian language and culture, among other historical ties to Kyiv's former ruler. Ukrainian authorities have also stepped up a campaign to rename streets and settlements, as well as remove statues and monuments tied to the Tsarist and Soviet past.
Росія, вона сама нищить свою спадщину в Україні.
Alexander told Reuters, quote, "Russia, by its own actions, is destroying its heritage in Ukraine. Our young country is being reborn by going through this agony caused by Russia. And now, on December 25th, the country's rebirth will start with new holidays."
While 2023 is almost about to get over, 2024, we're almost about to ring in the new year. What does the next year have in store for us? Our next segment, heralding 2024. First up, moving to Serbia, where a peaceful protest in the Serbian capital spiraled into clashes with riot police. Thousands had gathered in opposition to the ruling Serbian Progressive Party, expressing discontent following the party's landslide victory in the recent parliamentary elections. Eyewitnesses reported police using pepper spray as tensions escalated outside Belgrade City Hall, where protesters attempted to breach the premises housing the local election commission. Some demonstrators scaled the building, shattering windows in a show of defiance. Well, now it's interesting to note that the SNS secured 46.72% of the votes in the snap elections as confirmed by the preliminary results from the State Election Commission. The situation remains tense as both protesters and the authorities navigate this turbulent aftermath of the snap elections. And moving on, European Union Foreign Policy Chief Josep Borrell has expressed deep concerns over the upcoming June elections for the European Parliament. Borrell fears that voters may be influenced by conflicts such as those in Russia, Ukraine and Israel-Gaza, leading them to support right-wing populist parties. Stressing the elections' critical nature, Borrell urges an informed electorate, expressing particular concern about the conflict's impact on EU's future. He emphasized the need for a swift change in Ukraine and doubts Russian President Vladimir Putin's willingness to halt actions. Borrell highlighted the elections' significance, paralleling them with the US presidential polls. Well, it is Christmas today, and this next segment focusing only on Christmas-based stories, because Christmas merriment has engulfed India as well, and with great fervor that too. And citizens from different states are celebrating the festival in their own unique ways. First up, take a look what's happening in Delhi. Let's take you through various states, various cities, how India is celebrating Christmas, because despite the cold wave and the rising air pollution, Delhi saw several mass prayers across the national capital. Take a look at some of those pictures of that church in the national capital in Connaught Place. Moving on to Maharashtra, several parts of the state including Mumbai and Pune were adorned with Christmas decorations, with mass prayers, celebrations and parades being held at the churches over there. Mass prayers were held across churches in Tamil Nadu's various districts and cities, including Chennai, Tenkasi, Karur, Madurai, Tiruvannamalai, Nagapattinam, amongst many others. Now, the churches were decked up in bright lights. Take a look at some of those aerial footage and Christmas decor as the churchgoers thronged in large numbers to attend Christmas prayers. As for Puducherry, Christmas was celebrated with many temples decorated with fish lamps. You had the former chief minister participating in the worshipping and gave Christmas greetings to everyone as well. So was the same in Ujjain. Take a look at this. Christmas celebrations went in full swing in Madhya Pradesh's Ujjain, Chhatarpur, Jabalpur, amongst other parts of the state of Madhya Pradesh. Meanwhile, as Christmas nears, Bethlehem's streets, usually bustling, now echo with church bells. But the city in the Israeli-occupied West Bank remains nearly deserted. Typically a focal point of the Christian narrative, Bethlehem is believed to be the birthplace of Jesus. Even the Pope has sent out his wishes and prayers, says that his heart is with Bethlehem.
This Christmas comes to Bethlehem in a different shape. Nowadays, Bethlehem, as any other Palestinian city, in mourning. We feel sad. So, in Bethlehem Municipal Council, we decided to cancel all festivities and celebration in Christmas season. So, we put this event in order to send a very clear message to the international community that Bethlehem reject this aggression against our people in Gaza Strip. We are witnessing a genocide and ethnic cleansing in Gaza Strip.
Well, shifting our focus to Italy, where in a southern Italian church, a nativity scene with two mothers alongside baby Jesus has stirred controversy. Priest Vitaliano della Sala's aim was to embrace diverse families in his parish, sparking outrage among staunch Catholics and politicians. Nativity scenes, common in Italy, now entangled in culture wars amid the nation's secular and multicultural shifts. Meanwhile, in northwest China's Xinjiang autonomous region, the synergy of cultural tourism and rural revitalization has transformed the entirety of the area. Beyond its renowned natural beauty, snow-capped mountains, glaciers, grasslands, forests and the alpine lakes, Xinjiang offers a unique blend of ancient city charm and local folklore. Notably, Hemu village in the Altai prefecture has drawn nearly 40,000 visitors since December, captivating both local residents and tourists with its spectacular scenes. A variety of ice and snow activities, including skiing, horse-drawn sleigh riding and sightseeing, have heated up the enthusiasm of tourists in Christmas season. And in the run-up to Christmas, Santa Claus embarked on his annual journey from the Arctic Circle to bring Christmas joy to children worldwide. In the chilly surroundings outside Santa's residence in Finland, families gathered to enjoy Christmas songs and say their farewells to Santa. Prior to boarding his sleigh, Santa delivered a heartfelt message urging everyone to prioritize children's well-being. Listen in to what Santa had to say.
The most important, of course, is the well-being of the children. So that would be the goal for all of us.
Christmas magic in the air.
So I think you have... At the moment, there are too many children around the world who live in poor or even dangerous conditions. We should make all possible things to make them feel safe. This has been a stormy year again. And another wish for me is that people could live in peace around the world. So it's time to go, I think.
Okay.
Yes.
And meanwhile, Christmas Eve on Florida's Cocoa Beach, surfing Santas hit the waves. In its 15th year, Surfing Santa Day saw hundreds of surfers, a few elves as well, and enthusiastic onlookers gathering for the beloved annual event. Dressed in vibrant Christmas beach attire, participants brought the holiday cheer to the waves. What started as a casual family beach day has evolved into a cherished tradition, blending Florida's sunshine with festive Christmas vibes. The event unites locals and visitors, offering a unique celebration that embodies the spirit of the season. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Top Stories. Lots more continues right on the other side. Merry Christmas and thanks for watching.
वर्ष 2070 तक भारत नेट जीरो का लक्ष्य हासिल करेगा.
There is certainly a wall of capital coming into the clean tech, climate tech space, not just in India but across the world.